Ho hope she hey ya chaya. Ho hope she hey ya chaya. Ho hey 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 ya chaya. Hello, my name is Latash, Nahanee. I am from the Squamish Nation. I'd like to welcome you to our program. First of all, with a welcome song that comes from my ancestor, Chief Kayapalano, and to welcome you to our territory or our space here, and also wish a blessing upon all that are involved with this production.
Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Jalgamha and my English name is Delia Nahanee. About 11 years ago, I donated a kidney to my daughter, Marissa. I would really recommend, if you are asked to, or if it comes to your heart, to donate a kidney, I would really recommend it. She said, Mom, she says, this is such a strange thing. She said, it feels like I've just had a shower. She says, no matter how much the dialysis machines work to clean my blood, I never felt clean. But it just feels like I've had a shower. When I feel clear, my brain is open. I can think, and we never see her anymore, and that's fine with us. She is living her best life, and I just really, you just can't pay for that. There's no medicine in the world that can replicate being able to live free of dialysis and free of clinics. And it may seem like a big sacrifice, but it's not. Now my life is exactly the same. I feel I do exactly the same things as before I had the transplant. It's like the doctor even said, my kidney function improved. I just want to say welcome to Living Donation Week. Welcome to Vancouver. And welcome to, I hope that our ancestors here in this land take good care of you while you were here, that they will bring you safely back to the people that love you.
Welcome to the Center for Living Organ Donation's annual Living Donation Celebration event, part of Living Donation Week 2023. My name is Candice Coghlan, and I am the Education and Outreach Coordinator for the Center for Living Organ Donation and the host of the Living Transplant podcast.
And my name is Janine Johnson. I am the host of the ACB Organ Health Green Table Talk, and we are your MCs for today's event.
The Center for Living Organ Donation was created by the Ajmera Transplant Center in 2018 to improve access to living organ donation for people in need of a life-saving kidney or liver transplant and those who want to give the transformative gift of life. We raise awareness, provide support, promote research, and offer hope to thousands of people who are waiting for a kidney or liver transplant and everyone who wants to be part of their future.
This event is part of the Living Donation Week, a national awareness week, featuring free events and activities focused on improving access and equity in living organ donation, profiling the work of Team Transplant, and celebrating our incredible living donors and transplant recipients. And of course, we wouldn't be here without the support of the Astellas, Joanne Kearney, and Brandon Cahill, Chris Smith, and the YE Agency. Now we'll pass things over to Dr. Atul Humar, Medical Director of the Ajmera Transplant Center, for a few opening remarks.
Hello. Thank you for joining us for our annual Living Donation Week celebration event. I'm Dr. Atul Humar, and I am the Director of the Ajmera Transplant Center at UHN. This week is all about celebrating the amazing miracle of organ transplantation, and in particular, recognizing the life-saving gift that our living kidney and living liver donors make. Your gift saves a life, and our transplant team is honored and humbled to be a part of that journey. So a sincere thank you to all our living organ donors. Organ transplantation truly has the ability to transform a patient's life. And this is a large part of why I love working in transplantation. I continue to be inspired every day by our living donors, our patients, and my amazing colleagues who help make this all possible. So thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Humar. The theme for this year's Living Donation Week is Share Your Story. Through the Green Table Talk, I have been able to hear various stories from a lot of generous people who've gone through transplant, and hearing their stories just reaffirms within myself that there's a lot of amazing human beings out there willing to help others during their time of need.
And through the Living Transplant podcast, I've been able to connect with people to hear about the true human selflessness and to hear some of people's darkest moments, to hear their gratitude and the pure triumph of the human spirit.
Not only are we living donors saving lives, but when they're sharing their story, they're educating and inspiring and showing the world how beautiful living donation really is.
These stories of living organ donation also provide great hope to people who are waiting on the transplant list. They show potential recipients that there are people that are willing to donate a piece of themselves to help give people a second chance at life. There is no greater gift.
We are now excited to play for you a video of incredible stories from coast to coast across Canada celebrating living organ donation. Please enjoy.
My kidneys have almost completely failed, and we started to look for a transplant. My sister was my perfect match. So we rushed to the hospital, do all the tests, do all the checks, and unfortunately, we weren't complete positive match. That was a letdown. But we heard of this paired exchange program, which is a wonderful opportunity for people that are on the list waiting for a transplant. So we signed up, and I want to call him one of our angels, Michael, who was at Toronto General, who gave us all the details, explained everything very plainly and nicely.
C'est même pas j'ai pas eu à y penser deux fois. Ma réponse toujours était I'm fine. Like I'm fine. Nothing for me has changed personally. Je sais pas qu'il me manque un rein. Moi, ça m'a pris 3 jours à me rétablir, 4 jours au pire. Comparé à la vie entière à ma sœur, c'est vraiment rien.
Hi there, my name's Jonathan Ferguson. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I recently had a liver transplant about 2 years ago. It saved my life, and I'm here to talk about it. It was actually my brother who was my living donor. He donated 67% of his liver about 2 years ago. We both had a few complications afterwards, but we're here to tell the tale. For me, it was a long, torturous battle with primary sclerosing cholangitis, which led to a diagnosis of ulcerative colitis. We didn't know my brother was going to be a match. Blood type is only one piece. And it was a very delicate situation, but he was, okay, my brother comes first. And then he was told, we actually had a date. I remember I was working, I'm a photographer, and I was out at work, and I got the call that my brother would be my donor. And we had a date for March, like 20th, 2020. And I'm in tears. And everybody that's in the shoot is involved, knew the story, and they could see obviously that I look like a skeleton with extreme jaundice. And it was like hugs all around. And then this is May, and I've probably got two months left to live. At this point, health is really bad. And I think it was the day before my birthday, and I got a call from my hospital it's back on. Your brother's going to be your donor 1 week from now. We have the date. The next call is to my brother. My brother picks up. It's somebody on the transplant team he's never talked to before. And they said, we have a date. It's 1 week from now. He said, oh my gosh, I'm back on. It never left his mind that he wasn't the guy. He always thought in his mind, I'm like, this is what I'm meant to do. So 5 days later, we meet up in Edmonton and it's happening. The day before the surgery, and I'm all smiles, and you're at the lowest point in your life and you have to find somebody to save your life. It's the craziest thing we've gone through. And that person needs to be fully on board for everything. My brother was my best man at the wedding. It was a very small wedding, but everybody at the wedding, he was shocked by everyone coming up to him and saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much for our friend being here. And he was very overwhelmed and touched, and it's he still says, even after complications, still says that one of the greatest things he's done, and it's brought us incredibly closer.
In 2007, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and then in 2017, I was told by my doctor to start looking for a donor. I had a lot of family members get tested, and then 1 year later, Reema was my donor.
I didn't have any fear throughout that entire process. I felt very confident. The team, the doctors, and the staff really made it very simple in the way to understand the science behind it. The purpose that I get out of living life every day is so much more greater. Knowing that I was able to make this type of impact and save my sister's life. I love looking at my scars every day, every time I get dressed.
It symbolizes a second chance at life and total gratitude towards my sister.
I donated the kidney when I was in my young 20s, very young 20s. 22 years later, I would say it's had zero impact on my life. I haven't had to change the way that I live. I don't have to be careful with anything that I do. I just live my life the way that I always have. I have a family member who was quite sick with chronic kidney disease. She was born with it, but then it started to take a toll on her and she needed a donation. I went through the testing process and I was a very close match. I really didn't think about myself. I thought about, I need to do this so that she can get back to the way that she was. It was just such an impact. It was an emotional impact for myself. It was emotional for my family. But the kidney's still working well today. It's still, you know, there's been no complications. I've had no complications. It's been great for everybody involved.
My name is Devin Jones. I live in Regina, Saskatchewan with my wife and 2 children. In terms of my story, fall of 2016, my oldest niece, she was 3 years old at the time, and she was diagnosed with hepatoblastoma. So that's a pretty rare form of liver cancer. It usually only affects children under the ages of 4. And so her parents, were told that she was going to need a transplant, liver transplant. Because I was O negative, we started to begin the process to see if I would be a suitable donor. And turns out that I was. And unfortunately, due to some complications, we were told that she wasn't going to be able to undergo the transplant. And so we weren't able to proceed. And then she passed in the spring of 2017. We dealt with that as a family. Things we were kind of, getting back to, trying to get back to normalcy and all that. And there was one family in Saskatchewan, and I found them on Facebook, and they had a daughter who had hepatoblastoma as well, and she had successfully undergone the transplant. And that made me start thinking about all the families that we had seen and interacted with when we were visiting at Ronald McDonald House and spending that time in Edmonton. I started to think if I wasn't able to do this for my niece, there was lots of other kids, that I could do this for. And there's lots of other kids that needed someone like me. I knew I was a suitable donor. So I contacted the living donor coordinator that I had been working with in Edmonton. And I said, I'm ready and I'd like to be placed on the anonymous donor list. And it was probably only about 2-3 days, I think, before I got a call back saying there's someone on the list and you're a match. If you're actually, if you're willing and ready to do this, we're ready for you. And so I said, okay. One of the very first things I asked about when I woke up in recovery and they're telling me that I was doing well, I wanted to know right away, how's my recipient doing? How are they doing? They told me that the transplant, that was a success. They were doing really great. It's a little bittersweet, to be honest, right? Because again, I started this process for my niece. I'm happy to have been able to give someone their life back, right? It would have been amazing if it could have been, my niece. So that does make it a bit bittersweet. And sometimes, but the impact it's had on my life personally, it's only been positive. It's something where I'm extremely proud of what I did. Sounds strange, but I know it. I didn't really have to do much.
The onset of the health of her kidneys came 10 years earlier than expected. So, going through, the thoughts of dialysis for my sister and things like that, that's not something she wanted to do. I heard a voice and it said, "It's you." So right at that very moment, I knew that it was supposed to be me. The journey had started right there, and I remember, a day later or 2 days later, sharing this with my sister, and then everything just started with the transplant coordinator. It was such a rush. We were rushing to get testing done. It's funny I shared this memory in the last 2 days. When I opened my eyes, I seen, still suited up, the surgeon walking towards my bed. And this is what he said. As soon as I attached the kidney, it instantly started to work. And I couldn't talk at that time yet. I was just waking up. All I could do was, shed a couple tears, because those were tears of knowing and tears of joy. And I just raised my hand in the air and I thanked God.
Transplant was discussed fairly soon after I started dialysis. Once we got well underway with our training, then we started to discuss with our team transplant and living donor versus deceased donor in the exchange program. And we really started to educate ourselves with those different avenues and what they looked like. And then in terms of figuring out, living versus deceased, myself and my wife had a big discussion about it. We understood that living is the best way to go in terms of for myself, but I was really apprehensive about going the living donor route. I like to think of myself as like a really independent person, although my wife might argue otherwise sometimes. But I like to be really independent. I don't like to ask for a lot of favors. I like to help people out and be the one helping. So to, approach people and tell them my situation and then ask them if they would be interested in donating to me is really hard.
I remember initially when Bob got sick that week, there was a number of us that thought, once we found out it was kidney related, that thought we could donate the next week. We didn't know how any of it worked. So there's a few of us that were ready to do so then. And then we found out that that's not how it works and that we need to slow down. And we did receive that package in the summer. And I remember I took it to a park and I read all 64 pages of it. And I just had questions and made a few notes, and it felt even before I read the package that it was a no-brainer. I felt like I'm young and that I'm a relatively healthy person. I've been lucky in that regard, and that I felt like that was absolutely, that was something that I was interested in and something that I would go through with. And I read the package and I felt even more empowered after having read that. To answer your question, to be on this side of it I remember that week although feeling physically not great, as I was bouncing back, feeling very mentally relieved that it all worked out. I think that was the first thing I asked whenever I woke up from the anesthetic or the anesthesia from being put asleep, was that, like, did it work? Like, was everything okay? And it was. And so I feel happy to see Bob healthy and to see him return to traveling and not having to go in to the hospital for dialysis consultations, not having to be hooked up at bedtime for him and Susan to get a lot of the way they did live their lives. To get that back it's thrilling. It's really exciting because, selfishly, my life benefits from it as well. To have one of your friends kind of restored is exciting on a selfish note.
Yeah, I remember when Taylor went in for his surgery, his fiance, we were messaging with her, and you had gone in for your surgery. And then Laura messaged us like, yeah, he's doing really well, but he's really worried. He said he doesn't want to mess this up for Bob. And I thought, oh my goodness, you're always like thinking about others, even like going in under the knife. It was amazing. Taylor knows I'm not good at sharing my emotions coming and growing up on a farm, especially. But I always think, what I can't put into words or what, I've already said to Taylor, I always try and show him in pictures. So I'm always sending you like pictures of like us traveling across Canada, or me hiking up a mountain, or like me in my tractor, like putting in my first crop. So I'm always trying to show to Taylor, like, look at what you've given me and the opportunities you've given me, and like how my life has improved since you've donated and done this selfless act for me.
My name is Daniel Kabdutia, and I'm the father of living donor to my son.
Hi, my name is Hunter Kabdutia, and I was diagnosed with kidney disease back in 2020.
Almost 3 years ago, and at the time I was way overweight, and I was 275 pounds, and they couldn't test me because of my weight. I took action, and took me 11 months to lose 85 pounds. With the love of my energy to my son and the drive I got and determination, I just kept trying and pushing, and I challenged that number and just kept motivating myself and just kept going. I cut down my meals. I stopped taking sugars and watched my meals and just mainly water and walk. I challenged myself all the time, like timing myself, trying to burn more calories. A big part of it was my wife, and she was my mentor, my coach, my cook, my nurse. She was everything to us, and she motivated me every day. Cold temperatures were a little challenging, but polar bears, you're constantly checking your shoulders while walking, or when they get too active after dark. I would just go to the gym, local gym, high school gym, and just go to weight room and start walking there on foot. I came here for another testing, then doctors called my wife and they set up a surgery date, and I found out on my birthday about the surgery date. It was like big relief and all excited. Everything went well on our operation date, surgery date. I was excited, just pumped up, like everything paid off and the day has come. It's a long journey, lots of challenges. It's a life changer situation. Otherwise, if I didn't do this, I'd probably be 300 pounds today. It's just normal, just big relief that a child, my son, knowing he got kidney now, and like, I don't know, just it's just overwhelming, good feeling overall, and nothing to be scared of. Just go for it. And the whole family just back to normal life again. His energy level jumped big time. He's more active again and doesn't get tired anymore. Yeah, it's a positive note. Determination just drives me unlimitedly. So nothing could stop me at that time when I was driving towards my son donation. Before the whole journey started, even before we diagnosed the failure of my son's kidney, I was on the other side of the world, and I would have never ever thought about being a sober guy and be a kidney donor at a healthy weight, and I was way off of that. If there's somebody out there living on like my old style, living style, you put your heart up front towards your kids, and before you realize, your life's going to be changed for the love of the children, and be a good example to your kids, because our kids, they imitate and they learn from parents. So it's always good practice trying to be a positive leader, role model to your kids. Tan kidney disease mit nutakautit ne ayulak himayutakang na ovid ikayon nilugema lutit nagling ne atong lugu ayung ito tukyata malu ni nagling ne atong lugu kunaluk tayo nangim pada pinilumea kalunite penning namat ka pena ito bilag dawanik tuni ipinga imea mato huigo tatunga la bilag dawlawa ma penning nameato.
With approximately 3,500 Canadians waiting for an organ transplant today, the voices and faces of these donors and recipients provide hope and share that no one is fighting their battle alone. We are all in this together as Team Transplant.
Exactly. It shows a lot of camaraderie. It shows that everyone is in this together, and that's the whole purpose of this.
And now I'm thrilled to introduce you to Ivica Balaban, an opera singer who has joined me on the Living Transplant podcast and shared his story about how his kidney transplant from his living donor, his brother, gave him his voice back and gave him the ability to sing again. Please enjoy.
This first aria is from Puccini's La Fanciulla del West, or The Girl of the West. My character is a man bereft of hope, facing execution for his crimes. Having come to terms with his sentence, all he wishes is that his love, Winnie, knows not of his fate, and that she is told he is on a new path of redemption.
What a beautiful voice with such strength and power. It's incredible to see someone channel their journey into their art. Living organ donors save lives. So this moment, I would like to take the time to say thank you to my donor, because Christy took the time to fill out the forms and go through the strenuous process of trying to save my life. And because of her, I am here with you today. So thank you very much, Christy. We have a remarkable gratitude wall that people have been sharing their personal messages on.
I'd also like to take this moment to thank my donor, my mom, who gave me life twice. On September 9th, we actually celebrated our 14th kidney anniversary. And my mom has given me such a beautiful life and the opportunity to do so many things. And again, like you, to be here today celebrating Living Donation Week. If you would like, I invite everyone to go to that gratitude wall and leave a message. You can view the gratitude wall at bit.ly/LDW23TX. Head on over there, write a message of thanks to your doctor, to your donor, to your surgeon, to your family or friends, to the recipient, social workers, anyone who has been part of your transplant journey.
Definitely. One group of people that we are grateful to are, of course, our living donors. Living organ donors save lives. They provide hope to people on transplant waiting lists, and they give us our lives back. Each year, we send out celebration kits to the past year's donors, which includes a medal from Trillium Gift of Life Network, and that recognizes their incredible life-saving gifts. We want to share a few of these selfies with which we received from this year's group of living donors. Here are a few of the pictures we've received.
If you're a living donor and would like to share your selfie with us, we would love to see it. Please send us a message to livingorgandonation@uhn.ca or tag us on social media at givelifeuhn. All week, we are going to be sharing stories of living donors, recipients, and Team Transplant. Sharing your story is incredibly important in finding a living donor. Later this week, on Wednesday, September 13th, from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be hosting the Finding a Living Donor interactive session in person at UHN, along with other locations across Canada who will also be meeting in person, facilitated by Afsana, a liver recipient who received her donor through a social media campaign, Heather, an anonymous living liver donor, and myself. We will be helping participants build their story to share, think about how and where to share, and how to create their campaign. You can register at givelifeuhn.eventbrite.ca, and we will also be having a virtual event if you're not able to make it in person. And the virtual event will be on Wednesday, September 13th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We're also excited to have our Light Up for Living Organ Donation campaign called #ShareTheLight. We have over 30 landmarks across North America, including the CN Tower, Niagara Falls, the Reconciliation Bridge, the Big Fiddle, and Icon Park in Miami, and many more that will be lit up throughout the week. If you're near any of these locations, please share a pic. Send it to us or tag us on social.
I'm really excited to see Niagara Falls lit up green, and how cool is that we are now in North America rather than just Canada.
Yes.
Another exciting reason to tune in this week is Thursday. We are going to be releasing a new episode of the Living Transplant podcast with guest Sylvie Charbonneau, who is a living kidney donor to her son and change activist, and Dr. Joseph Kim, the director of the Ajmera Transplant Center Kidney Transplant Program. We talk about Sylvie's journey as a living donor to her son, systematic changes, how increases in transplant can happen across the country, and barriers, and best of all, the solutions to those.
Wow, that sounds great. I will be watching. So we are also launching another round of Share the Shorts competition, where students aged 12 to 18 and 19 to 25 can submit short videos to bring awareness and education to living organ donation. We had 3 remarkable winners in the spring. You can watch their videos on YouTube, and the submissions will be open shortly. So the deadlines for the first week will be December, so look out for that coming soon.
Awesome. And now for another entertainment break, we bring you Ivica.
In this second aria from Meyerbeer's L'Africaine, or The African Woman, my character has arrived on an unknown island after a long expedition. He is completely bewitched by its beauty and wonder. It is unlike anything he has ever seen. These recordings were made possible by my brother's right kidney. Thanks, Joe.
We wouldn't be here today without the partners in the community supporting patients, donors, caregivers, and advocates. We welcome our partners to share their gratitude for Living Donation Week.
Hello, my name is Craig Settee, and I'm sharing this message on behalf of the CanSolve CKD network. My role with the network is as the Cultural Competency Manager, which entails working to enhance cultural competency, safety, and humility amongst our circle of influence. One of the reasons I got involved with the Kidney Research Network is because I am a living kidney donor to my brother, Kevin. We are nearing our 11-year kidneyversary, or our kidney transplant anniversary. The question posed for this UHN Living Donation Week is why transplant? Well, this one hits close to home, being a kidney donor. My reason for becoming a living donor is quite simple. I wanted to give my brother a better quality of life and to no longer be on dialysis. Transplant is often referred to as a gift of life. The idea of gift giving is really important in my culture, and it's also one of the greatest gifts I can give, part of myself. Living organ donation offers a shorter pathway to transplant with less wait time and better health outcomes for those who need a liver or a kidney. 1 in 10 people living in what is now called Canada are affected by kidney disease, and it also affects Indigenous populations at a much higher rate, nearly 1 in 3 people. There are not enough organs from deceased donors to fill the need of nearly 3,500 people waiting for a kidney or a liver transplant. Why transplant? Whether it's a family friend, a relative, or done anonymously, living organ transplant saves lives and offers organ recipients another chance at living with a gift of life. Miigwech, thank you.
Mon nom est Michel Paquet, je suis néphrologue en transplantation à Montréal et aviseur médical pour la Société canadienne du sang. Pourquoi la transplantation? Pour les patients avec la maladie rénale terminale qui ont besoin d'une thérapie de remplacement de la fonction rénale, il est clair que la transplantation rénale est le meilleur traitement que nous pouvons leur offrir. À comparer aux patients en traitement de dialyse, les patients qui ont eu une transplantation rénale ont un meilleur état de santé, une meilleure qualité de vie et une meilleure espérance de vie. Lorsqu'un donneur vivant en santé est disponible, la transplantation peut être effectuée avec le rein provenant d'un donneur vivant. Et ceci donne de bien meilleurs résultats en fonction de la fonction rénale et aussi en fonction de la durée du rein. En général, un rein de donneur vivant va durer plusieurs années de plus qu'un rein provenant d'un donneur décédé. Si jamais le donneur vivant et son receveur ne sont pas compatibles, par exemple en raison de différences dans le groupe sanguin, il est quand même possible de faire la transplantation rénale avec un donneur vivant grâce au programme canadien de dons croisés de reins. La Société canadienne du sang est heureuse d'annoncer que nous avons facilité maintenant plus de 1000 transplantations grâce au programme de dons croisés de reins. Nous avons pu effectuer ces 1000 transplantations grâce à la collaboration de tous les programmes de dons vivants et de transplantation à travers le Canada, grâce aux professionnels de la santé, à la Société canadienne du sang et de façon plus importante à la très grande générosité des donneurs vivants qui ont pris la décision de donner un de leurs reins à un proche ou parfois même à un inconnu. Cette grande générosité et ce don a fait toute la différence pour 1000 patients, leurs familles, et ceci a eu un impact positif pour toute leur vie. Ces 1000 transplantations représentent des patients qui n'auraient peut-être pas eu accès à une transplantation ou qui auraient dû attendre beaucoup plus longtemps pour une greffe avec le rein sur la liste d'attente d'un rein d'une personne décédée. Alors, c'est pour ça la transplantation, la meilleure option, surtout si c'est un rein avec un donneur vivant.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Neveski, and I'm the president of the Canadian Liver Foundation. On behalf of all of us at the CLF, I'd like to extend a huge thank you for bringing hope to the 1 in 4 Canadians who may be impacted by liver disease in Canada. We are especially grateful to all of you who continue to share your living donor stories with us and bringing awareness to liver transplantation in Canada. You are such.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Living Donation Week 2023. My name is Fadia, and I am the Programs Coordinator at the Kidney Foundation of Canada, Ontario branch. I am thrilled to support and collaborate with the Centre for Living Organ Donation on understanding the importance of living donor transplants. The Kidney Foundation not only provides peer support and mentoring from the very start of one's kidney journey, but also during the process of living donation. Our peer support goes beyond just the recipient, but is also for the caregivers and the living donors. This week, you will hear from many recipients and the amazing living donors who provided that gift of life to a loved one, a neighbor, even to a stranger anonymously through the Paired Exchange program. In addition to providing peer support along with my amazing Kidney Connect volunteers, I'm also a kidney patient and a 2-time transplant recipient through the Deceased Donor Program. I truly understand the importance of spreading awareness, education, and connecting with your peers when it comes to all aspects of the kidney journey, especially when not knowing how to ask someone for a kidney. This week will also shine a very important light on approaching a donor and how many patients, like myself, are looking, either through social media, speaking to loved ones, reconnecting with old high school friends, or even putting an ad in your local newspaper. Connect with our peer support program today to speak one-to-one with living donors and recipients on how they proceeded with their ask while gaining additional tips and tools. The Kidney Foundation is here for you for life. Thank you, and connect today.
Inspiration. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Jeff Robertson here, Executive Director for the PKD Foundation of Canada. I'm excited to recognize Living Donation Week 2023 with you today, knowing firsthand just how important living organ donation is to my family and the entire polycystic kidney disease community. Roughly 50% of the PKD population will rely on either dialysis or transplantation to prolong the quality of their life. For those in need of an organ transplant, living donation gives them the best chance to get their life back as quickly as possible and lessens the burden on the deceased donor list. I have had the privilege to see so many incredible heroes step up over the years to be a living donor for family members, friends, co-workers, and even strangers. With great pride, I can include my wife Brandy in this list of heroes, as she courageously donated 60% of her liver in an effort to save her dad's life. Over the course of September 10th through 16th, I encourage you to get involved in Living Donation Week as much as possible. Join in the conversation online by liking, sharing, and commenting on the Center for Living Organ Donation's posts. Consider taking it one step further by sharing your thoughts and wishes on organ donation with your friends, family, and your social media network. By doing so, you are shining a spotlight on this important initiative and raising critical awareness for living organ donation across Canada. I assure you, this will save lives. On behalf of the entire PKD Foundation of Canada, thank you for doing all that you can to improve the quality of life for those in need of a life-saving transplant.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Peretz from the University of Manitoba. Thank you to all the organ donors who have truly changed the lives of loved ones. I chose to be a transplant hepatologist as it is a very fulfilling part of medicine where you change somebody's life in such a dramatic way. During this celebration week, once again, I thank everyone who continues to help bring awareness to living organ donation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca Cooper. I'm the Vice President of the Ontario Renal Network and Trillium Gift of Life Network at Ontario Health. I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to take part in Living Donation Week again this year. The events of this week will help raise awareness about living donation, give hope to individuals currently waiting for a transplant, and inspire Ontarians to explore the gift of living organ donation. I am proud to celebrate and thank all those who come together to make living donation possible, the remarkable healthcare professionals and transplant teams, the patients and their families and caregivers, and most especially, living donors themselves. Today, there are 1,300 individuals in need of a life-saving organ transplant. Ontario Renal Network and Trillium Gift of Life Network are committed to working with our healthcare partners across the province to promote and increase access to living donor transplantation. On behalf of the Ontario Renal Network, Trillium Gift of Life Network, and Ontario Health, thank you. What you do gives hope to Ontarians awaiting a life-saving kidney or liver transplant. All the best on another successful Living Donation Week.
September 10th to 16th is Living Donation Week in Toronto. This important week reminds us that there are thousands of Canadians awaiting transplants. And donations not only reduce deaths, but give kidney and liver recipients a new chance at living a healthy life. If you have donated in the past, thank you. Donating takes courage, and your selfless act of love and solidarity is amazing. If you have received a donation in the past, thank you. Your resolve and strength is beautiful. If you're one of the countless healthcare professionals who help make donations a success, thank you as well. Your diligence and hard work enriches lives, and we are grateful. This week, join me in celebrating everyone who has helped save lives through living donations and encouraging more people to step forward and donate.
It takes a team to care for people who are living with kidney or liver failure. We're very lucky at UHN to have the incredible leadership that we do. Please enjoy a short video from our leadership from UHN.
Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, President and CEO of the University Health Network, and I'm very pleased to be with you today to celebrate Living Donation Week for kidney and liver transplantation. It's a very important week for us to celebrate and thank our remarkable living donors and, of course, to congratulate their brave recipients. It's also an important time for us to recognize caregivers and the remarkable transplant teams, especially those that we enjoy right here at University Health Network. Last year, as many of you know, 576 healthy Canadians did the incredible, selfless act of donating a kidney or a part of their liver to someone on the transplant list. Right now, there are more than 3,500 people in Canada desperately waiting for an organ transplantation. We know that living organ transplantation donation has the very best outcomes. We also know that it means a shorter pathway to a better health recovery. The Living Donor Program at the Ajmera Transplant Center provides a truly fantastic route to better health. The dedicated professionals in the Ajmera Transplant Program and Center ensure that patients get exceptional care at every stage of their care process, pre, during, and post. I wish all of you a very meaningful Living Donation Week, and again, I'd like to close where I started by sincerely thanking those selfless, remarkable living donors who've changed the lives of so many. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Blaine Amir Syed. I'm a liver transplant surgeon at the Hospital for Sick Children, as well as the Ajmera Transplant Center at UHN. Thanks for having me here to be part of the appreciation event for Live Donation Week. Transplantation has always fascinated me since my time as a medical student. It's really the pinnacle of our clinical capabilities, taking the sickest of patients sometimes and really transforming their health and their lives to follow. But on a very basic level, it is entirely dependent on the altruistic act of one human being for another, and that continues to inspire me. It inspires my clinical partners, inspires the scientists and the research who do work around transplantation, and I'm just so thankful and appreciative to be part of so many patients' remarkable journeys, from infants in the neonatal ICU through babies and toddlers, teenagers, older patients, and patients well into their 60s now, and even some in their 70s who have an extended lease on life, who have a new bill of health, and who thrive following transplantation, and it's all made possible by our donors. And so just wanted to have the chance to say thank you for what you do for your loved ones and for our patients, and thanks for letting us be part of this remarkable process and journey.
Hi, this is the Home Hemodialysis team, and we want to wish you all Happy Living Donation Week!
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Selzner from Ajmera Transplant Center and the Center for Living Organ Donation. On behalf of myself and all my colleagues, I wanted to wish all our donors as well as their family a happy Living Liver Donor Weeks, and thanks them all for their generosity. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sunita Singh. I'm the Medical Director of the Living Kidney Donation Program here at UHN. As part of Living Organ Donation Week, I want to extend a sincere and heartfelt thank you to all of our living organ donor candidates who come forward every day wanting to help someone in need. We are constantly moved by the incredible stories of our living organ donors. Kidney transplantation is a life-changing event allowing our patients to live better and longer lives. And this is true for people who receive a kidney from both a living donor or a deceased donor. And that's one of the reasons I decided to get into transplant, because of the incredible privilege of being part of such a life-changing event. And so this week, we recognize our living organ donors and the immense dedication and commitment it takes to give the gift of life. And so wishing you all a wonderful Living Organ Donation Week.
We are from the multi-care kidney clinic from University Health Network, specifically from Government General Hospital, and from all of us to you, it's a happy living donation. Thank you.
In my role working with unplanned dialysis starts, talking about kidney transplant and living donation is one of the most important things I do. It really gives patients and their families hope that there's something other than dialysis.
In my role as a physician here, and I see when I'm also a dialysis physician, when I see my patients on the dialysis and I see that they have been waiting for the transplant, they have been waiting for years. The only thing that I can think of is if I can get these patients out of the dialysis by having a transplant soon. I think living donation is the key here, because living donation can actually shorten the time on dialysis, improve the quality of life, and also the quantity of life. And it is such a huge improvement for the patient's life, as well as not only for the patient, but also the family and the community. So I would strongly encourage living donation.
So as we celebrate the Living Donation Week, I think it's really important to recognize our living donors and our patients for all their effort in the differences they make in their own lives as well as in other people's lives. So I'd like to thank the living donors for offering a valuable gift, a life-changing gift, which benefit not only the patients but their loved ones. Also, big thank you to our patients for your courage in sharing your stories about your kidney disease journey. And by doing so, you do not only increase the possibility of getting a living donor, but also help promoting the knowledge of kidney disease and acting as an ambassador. Thank you all.
From all of us, happy Living Donation Week.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Peretz from the University of Manitoba. Thank you to all the organ donors who have truly changed the lives of loved ones. I chose to be a transplant hepatologist as it is a very fulfilling part of medicine where you change somebody's life in such a dramatic way. During this celebration week, once again, I thank everyone who continues to help bring awareness to living organ donation. Thank you.
Hi, we're Lena and Chantal. We're the Living Donor Liver Coordinators. We're wishing you a happy Living Donor Week. What an amazing gift. It's a big week to celebrate. I love working in transplant because of all of you amazing donors and all of your inspiring stories. I love transplant as it brings hope to many people in a very dark and difficult time. Happy Living Donor Week! Happy Living Donor Week!
As I've previously said, living donation takes a team. From our generous living donors to our resilient transplant patients to their caregivers and family and friends, to our volunteers, we want to say thank you on behalf of our program. And to our transplant teams, the doctors, nurses, surgeons, social workers, admin, none of this would be possible without you. Thank you for your dedication to living donation. We're also incredibly grateful to our sponsors for Living Donation Week and the Great Actions Leave a Mark campaign. Thank you to our sponsors, Astellas, Joanne Kearney, and Brendan Cahill.
And thank you to our creative support, Chris Smith, for the ACB Organ Health YouTube channel, and to Stephanie and the YE Agency for all their hard work and dedication to the Great Actions Leave a Mark campaign.
We hope you've enjoyed our program today, and we're really excited to participate in Living Donation Week all week. Please like, share, comment on our social media at givelifeUHN, and join the many events that are happening this week through the Center for Living Organ Donation and our partners. To view all of the events, please visit givelifeuhn.eventbrite.ca.
We would like to now ask Elder Latash and Delia to please close our program today.
Thank you for watching the Living Donation presentation today. It was an honor to be here, an honor to have you. The most sacred animal is the salmon, because the salmon gives of itself. It takes a journey up the river, and it all the way up the river just to spawn. But that's what it is, diethin, to give of yourself. To give of yourself in service, to give of yourself in caring, to give of yourself through duty. That's one of the most sacred things we can do here on earth as human beings. This is our purpose. This is our purpose, and this is our it's what brings us joy. Marissa and I went in for our surgery. The waiting room was full to capacity. Of course, this was pre-COVID. You could do that kind of thing. But there's, I think there must have been about 60 people, standing there wishing us well, encouragement. But there's just so much people there to encourage you, and to support you. And I will be so happy to meet you, and to hear your story of your donation. Everything has to align in your universe to say yes to something like this. But if it's speaking to you in your heart, if it's in your heart to do this, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do it, because it's, somebody needs it, and could be your daughter, could be your cousin, could be your aunt, could be your uncle, any relative. Usually it's a relative or somebody you match with that you can donate the kidney to, and it's a long process, so just start the process, because it's a long process. Oh, he, oh, he, oh, 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 he, oh, he, oh, oh, yeah, hey.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and happy Living Donation Week. We now leave you with some inspiration from our Great Actions Leave a Mark campaign. Enjoy.
I feel like I gave 3 people really a chance.
She was getting so sick and I wanted to help her. I really didn't think about myself. I thought about, I need to do this so that she can get back to the way that she was.
I don't think the donors themselves realize how much a gift it is. It's a gift of a second life.
The fact that people can come through and do this incredible act of heroism, quite frankly, is unbelievable.
There's not words for a thank you.